Well, welcome everybody to our Freedom Bundle breakdown. If you guys know me for 5 minutes, you'll know this is my passion. This collection is, I really think Young Living made it just for me to teach. That sounds odd and maybe a little selfish, but I super love this collection and what it's done in my life. And so when this collection came out, I thought, there is nothing more suited for me to teach than this. And here's why. Emotional releasing in these two collections, it's at its simplest right here. And in the past few years, emotions and essential oils and releasing and all of that has become as common as using them for allergies, right? Or for sniffles or a cold or any of that. Like where people are getting certified for AFT, we're telling people if you use Valor, it'll give you courage. And so we've opened up the conversation about utilizing essential oils for emotions. However, when you are dealing with things that are rooted in trauma, and PTSD, and anxiety, and depression, it becomes a whole nother ballgame. And you start to unwrap a new level of, how do I say? It's just a whole nother level. That's all I'm going to say. And what goes from just like, I'm a little sad, or I had this traumatic event, or I struggle to speak in front of people, or, the whole gamut, all of a sudden you use these oils and stuff starts bubbling to the surface. And we find out, wait a second, why do I feel this way? What's at the root? What happens when these memories that were buried long ago start bubbling up? I spoke with a woman online when these came back, and she had said that she used them back in February when they came out and then stopped. Just stopped. Spent $300, used them for a bit and stopped because it started bringing up stuff that she didn't want to understand. So she stopped. I've talked to other people who purchased the collection and hadn't opened it. And I'm thinking, you're sitting on a virtual gold mine and not doing anything with it. And then I've met people and talked to people and coached them through. They have used it, had some things creep in, and were like, what do I do? They reached out, we pressed in, and they started moving forward, and they were free. And so most people are not going to be able to tell you the first thing about chemistry. Most of us who use essential oils, we use them because it's like they smell good, we feel good. We're not necessarily going to be able to tell you why. Maybe you are someone who's like, I have zero interest in chemistry. I like the way it smells. That's that. What's real to you is the experience that you're having. Why this class is written, why I wanted to do this class for you guys, and why I continue to coach afterwards, is because unlike lemon or lavender, that you can simply apply and enjoy the benefits, essential oils that are for emotional releasing specifically, hear me, all oils can release trapped emotions. They all have that component. You're going to see that as we dive in. But when they're blended together, when they have this amazing synergy, right, and they're specifically designed for this, it can bring up unpleasant things in the mind and in the soul that most people just don't know what to do with. And what do you do when it does happen? Thank you guys for answering the questions. Sidebar, I will get to the questions if I see them as I go. If not, we'll answer them at the end. Hopefully, my prayer is that this class will empower you to walk through this collection with confidence. But here's what I'm going to implore you to do. Don't do it alone. Buddy up. buddy up. This kind of work that we're talking about, this emotional releasing, should not be done in isolation. We're not meant to live in an island. When people go through therapy and counseling, obviously, by definition, you are talking with somebody. So I can't fathom why you would get a collection and then do it alone. That just doesn't make any sense, and it's quite frankly not wise. That is not applying wisdom. Rather, you should buddy up with somebody, and if you were in my oily organization, you know I got you guys. Buddy up. This kind of work should be handled in a safe space. So we're going to give you a little background research just for tools to help propel you to get through the heart of it. The heart, not the heart. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Erica's comment. You buddied up with 2 of your kids. Okay, I'm fist bumping you, girl. That's brave with your children. My family and I, just to give you a little background, if you don't know me, most of you guys have known my story, but just super quick, I had a child with cancer. Actually, before then, I had a stillborn baby. I've been pregnant 10 times. I've had 5 live births, so you can figure there's trauma there. Then we had the child with cancer. He's fine. He's almost 18. We had the daughter born with the organs outside her body. So our family has gone through a lot. I had a husband who was chronically depressed on antidepressants. He is not now. We have walked through the feelings collection. We have done this together. We're all doing it again together because it's out and now we have it in abundance. And I believe that as you grow up your children and as you grow personally, walking through emotional releasing is really important at certain stages in life and throughout the year. We just moved exactly a year ago. Moving is traumatic. I mean, whether it's a good move or a bad move, it is what it is. It's just trauma. And so what we choose to do in our family is we see feelings as big. We see events as big. And so we deal with them. All right, so first you have the freedom sleep, and then you have the freedom release. The way these are designed, and Gary Young designed these for, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that he did this for people who had trauma and PTSD, serious stuff, right? I'm sorry, I'm really working on that, saying that trauma is trauma, hard is hard. In our essentially free class, we teach feelings are feelings. They all are big. They all need to be recognized. They all need to be acknowledged. Can I tell you, if you get nothing else from this class tonight, is that if you can stop and pause and say to your children, say to your spouse, say to yourself, feelings are big. They're not silly. They're not dumb. Don't judge it. Don't categorize it. Feelings are feelings. If you are feeling triggered or you are feeling frustrated about a certain thing, don't judge it. Just acknowledge it and then just say, okay, what can I do in this space? How can I manage through this? Tonight, the first thing I want to chat with you guys about is the Freedom Sleep Collection. These are meant to do separately. So right now, just put your release away. We're going to talk about the sleep. And think about it this way. If you have a lot of PTSD, if you have a lot of trauma, if you are working through a lot of just stuff, your mind is spinning. Also, this is a great part of the collection for children who and adults who have I need to keep this as compliant as I should, right? Like, I mean, you guys are probably, Jen, whoa, you're getting a little crazy with the letters thrown around and the word trauma and depression and anxiety. So I will say this, adults and children who have had somebody tell them that their brain doesn't turn off. Do you guys pick up what I'm saying? So somebody who your brain is just going 100 miles an hour. The freedom sleep is where we need to start. Because chances are, if you've had any of this stuff going on or currently have something going on, your body needs to relax. Your brain needs to chill out. You can't process your emotions appropriately if you are sleep deprived. I neglected to mention my dad, who was in the military from Vietnam all the way to Desert Storm and was in every conflict in between. Also ones that none of us know about. I know a couple of them that most people don't know about. He saw a lot. He just saw a lot. I'll say that. One of the triggers that he had once he retired from the military is he'd get up every night at 2 a.m. and he would check the perimeter with his weapon. And so, which is not normal. That's not okay to do when you were in the New York suburbs, right? He didn't sleep. When he started using this, I guess 4 years ago, he finally slept. He was like, I haven't slept like that in years. It's pretty powerful. And then his brain was able to help him relax. This collection contains 4 blends. So if you guys want to pull them out, we've got Aroma of Sleep, Freedom, Inner Harmony, and Valor. You're going to have freedom in both of the collections. And we'll talk about each one as we go. Let's talk about freedom first. In your collections, guys, you have a, como se dice, what is this? Like a little, like a help card. The last time I did this class, I'm like, you can just pitch it because, no, you know what? Don't pitch it. I'm sorry. That's arrogant for me to say. My apologies. I get a little sassy like that. This is basic. Let's just say that. This is basic. If you have never gone through emotional releasing, here's me. If you've never gone through emotional releasing and you got this collection, let's just put it on the shelf now. Give me a call. Don't walk through this. Just slow your roll. This is deep. This is like you are ready to work through it and you're ready to go. But if you've never done anything like that, you've never dug up anything, we need to talk. This is basic. This is, you've done your emotional releasing, maybe you've done an AFT session, maybe you walked through a couple of the feelings kits, your classes, whatever, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to touch on this. What I want to do is for those of you guys who have sat with me through several courses of Essentially Free, you've done all the classes, you're just like, I've got to get this. I know there's something, I've got to get it out. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to help you walk through a deep dive. Really, the way I would say probably Gary would want us to just play around with this, right? I heard Gary Young say, have you guys ever found like an old recording of Gary? Like it probably would have been on a cassette tape. Now we can find it on MP3 or something online. And I heard him say, you know, just play with your oils. Just really have fun with it. And I said, yes, have fun with it. Just be aware, you know, Gary was so different. Like he was totally cool with traumas and, you know, emotions and getting it all out and just doing that. But most of us dive in and we're like, oh, I love lavender, I love peppermint. And all of a sudden you put on, you know, rue, copaiba, sacred frankincense, Idaho balsam, or blue spruce all together. And your feelings like, they're getting out there and you're going, what the hell is happening? Gary, you did not tell us about this. So when we start to have fun with our oils, we need to understand what we're playing with. Freedom. It comes in a 15 ml. How lovely for us. This is to quiet the mind and allow it to release past traumas, opening up the mind to the possibility of freedom. When we talk about freedom, it's sort of a catchword, isn't it, nowadays? Oh, freedom this, financial freedom, emotional freedom, physical freedom. When we just say it so arbitrarily. We don't really think about, many people don't stop and think, is it possible to be free? If I were to look each one of you in the face, eye to eye, and I said to you, you know, Beth, Noreen, Lori, is it possible for you to be free? How many of you would answer me, yes, absolutely. Like really and truly in your gut, in your soul of soul, you know, yeah, it's possible, and I'm walking in it. I was a hairdresser for 100 years. I coached tons of people, and so my guess is 50% of you would probably be like, yeah, maybe. And the other, like I'm seeing on the chat here, yes, like oh, you girls, you get it. You get it. But some, maybe, perhaps, I think freedom is going to help Open your mind to that possibility. That possibility of just sitting there daydreaming, like, I can be as free as I want to be. I can be completely free. The blend in here, I'm going to share with you each, in these oils, I'm going to share with you guys the oils that are in these blends. And we're going to pick out a couple that are really key that I'd really love for you guys to focus in on so that you catch the beauty of these blends. So in Freedom, you've got Copaiba, Sacred Frankincense, Idaho Blue Spruce, which is really high in frequency, Lavender, Peppermint, Valerian, Palo Santo, and Rue, or Ruda. So we're going to talk about 3 of these tonight. The first one is Palo Santo. It's in the same botanical family as frankincense, but it's in South America, which is cool because if you think how frankincense, those properties, right? If you understand anything about plants and science, what you know is if something is in the same family, it's going to respond the same. So here's a great way to think about it. In your own family, in my own family, in the Weir family, we all have a lot of the same sayings, the same nuances. We have similar mannerisms. We take our coffee similarly. You know what I mean? We like similar things. So if you have an oil that is in, you say, oh, it's in the mint family. It's in the same botanical family as frankincense. You can say to yourself, aha, okay, it's going to respond like frankincense. Frankincense is very soothing. It's grounding. It's highly spiritual. Palo Santo is the same. Traditionally, it's deeply rooted in cleansing and purifying. This is what they use it for in South America. And in Spanish, the name literally means holy wood, Palo Santo, which shows the high regard for this oil. As frankincense is in the East, so is Palo Santo in South America. So just think about that. So if you have your Freedom, you can breathe that in, and you may catch the Palo Santo in there. Now, valerian, traditionally, this was used for, now again, I'm not diagnosing or curing or any of that. I just need to tell you what valerian has been used for, okay? So traditionally, it was used for insomnia, right? You see valerian tablets. We have these little valerian tablets we give to our over-anxious dog. So anxiousness, restlessness, and stress. You're going to see valerian a lot in a lot of these oils, these blends. And Rue or Ruda, nervous afflictions and hysterics. You're going to see that one in a lot of these blends. So one of the ways that you want to use this, if you want to dive deep, so that obviously you guys have your card, you can see, you can apply 1 to 3 drops on each of your feet. We apply these on our feet as well. When you are applying essential oils, your intention is key. I'm going to say that again. You guys need to write this down. When you are applying essential oils, your intention is key. If I am applying my Valor, which we'll talk about in a moment, but if I'm applying my Valor and I'm thinking to myself, I feel off balance. So I'm going to activate, I'm going to rub it 3 times. I'm going to put it on my wrist. I'm going to ground my feet, right? Put my feet flat on the ground, or I'm going to go walk to the beach or stand outside in the grass. And I'm going to just wait till I feel my pulse in both my wrists. I'm going to feel balanced. Or I'm going to sit here and put it on my neck until I feel my pulse on both sides. If I need Valor for courage, I'm going to remind myself that if my spine is straight and it's in alignment and I have a backbone of steel, I can drip it down my spine, maybe even roll out on a foam roller and just think about my back being really straight and firm. Intention. Guys, your intention is key. One of the biggest mistakes I see as oilers is we just throw this oil on like we don't have any sense. These are precious. These oils are powerful. It's not just an expensive candle, guys. Intention is key. Taking your Freedom and putting it on the base of your neck where your cerebellum is, I'm telling you, if you don't know by now, when you take a class with Jen Weir, you're going to get some chemistry. With the back of your neck, your cerebellum, which receives information from your sensory systems, the spinal cord and other parts of the brain, and then it regulates your motor movements. So if you put that on, the cerebellum also coordinates your voluntary muscles, such as your posture, your balance, coordination, speech. And this results in smooth and balanced muscular activity. Hello, do you guys just want to go ahead and put some freedom right there on the back of your neck so that it gets right into your cerebellum, knowing what your cerebellum is for? You can put it on the crown of your head. So if you were like me, when you heard the word chakras years ago, whatever, you're like, oh, Lordy, here we go. Here's the woo-woo. What I love about studying and researching is that you can take woo-woo and match it with science, and now you have a full awareness and a complete knowledge and wisdom, and now you can apply it. So the motor cortex is right here in your brain, right where your energy center, the crown chakra, is. So there you go, science meets woo-woo, boom, done. There's a thing. So if you're into energy centers, just be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it on my chakras. If you're more sciencey, I'm going to put it at the top of my head, the crown of my head, and it's going to go for my motor cortex. Whatever floats your boat, people, just do it. Your motor cortex is responsible for planning and control and voluntary motor functions, very much like the cerebellum. When I realized that, I thought, oh my word, do you guys think it's important for control freaks, right, to have some oil here to help let go of that control? And I say control freaks in the kindest way, because here's what happens. When you are traumatized, when you have events in your life, controlling little things is your way of controlling what happened in the past. It's powerful. So let's recap. Bottom of your feet, a couple drops, crown of your head, back of your neck for freedom, morning and night. The next one, aroma sleep. Aroma sleep is just a delightful blend. It's beautiful. You apply it to your forehead. This is where your pineal gland point is, which stimulates and regulates sleep. You can put 2 drops to your forehead or your big toes to help with sleep. If somebody is more edgy, right, they've got a little more going on in their brain, more twitchy, you can use this throughout the day, morning and night, however. For the aroma sleep, you know, my children, they're so smart. They'll say, Mom, if you're giving this to us in the morning, is it going to make us tired? No, it's going to help regulate your body. Sometimes our biorhythm is off and we don't know when to be awake and when to be asleep. So applying aroma sleep, just like applying cedar wood in the morning, is not going to make you fall asleep. Cedar wood helps the natural production of melatonin in your body. But your body needs to produce it all day long, so that, like now, when it's starting to get dark, you start to get sleepy. Your body starts to do the things it needs to do. Aroma sleep will help you do that. This blend has lavender, geranium, Roman chamomile, bergamot, tangerine, sacred frankincense, valerian, and rue. See our oils again. Valerian, rue, we just talked about that. Lavender, you guys know that is the gateway oil for sleep. Geranium, very balancing, very light. Roman chamomile, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it is it's an anger repeller, which I love. And all those other citrus, the bergamot and tangerine, so great to lift your spirits. But if you're grumpy and irritated about something, how easy is it to sleep? Not very. Inner harmony is the next one for the sleep, for the freedom sleep. Inner harmony, this is the one, when I read the protocol, I'm like, all right, this is why I have to teach a class. Right here. They tell you to apply 1 to 3 drops on each of your wrists. And I said this in our last class for this, and I thought, well, sure, if you have trauma and you are not harmonious in your wrists. Again, it's basic. This is a basic walkthrough. Inner harmony balances the mind, spirit, and emotions. And it allows you to release past trauma and become grounded with present time. This creates a center of support. Knowing where your center of support is will help you, keep you from tipping off balance. physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Many of us will look to outside circumstances, our past, present, and what we think our future is, as our center of support. That is, it couldn't be more wrong. Our own person is our center of support. And if you believe in God like I believe in God, He is your center of support. But at the very minimum, we start here, similar to harmony. So if you're familiar with the oil Harmony, you're going to want to use inner harmony in a similar fashion, only a little bit more. So with regular harmony, I almost call it regular harmony. So with regular harmony, we would do 12 drops right around our belly, because this is literally the center of your body. This is where life began. Most are not in harmony because of growing up, right? So we start here. We start at the belly area, your belly button. With inner harmony, we want to balance our energy centers, starting from your belly, and then we work our way up. You can use this just, root chakra, solar plexus, on and on it goes, or your belly button, maybe your chest, your forehead, your crown, whatever you want to call it, right? But see these little points along the way, always working up and out. What I recommend when I coach people and what I've done with my children is we do that, 2 drops each area, and we go to a place that had experienced trauma. So in our family, my son has a big gaping scar on his neck from when he had cancer surgery, so we put some there. My daughter, where her liver is now, should be under her ribs, it's in her belly. So she's got a big scar on her belly. We put extra inner harmony there. She has a little scar here from surgery. Put a little extra there. See what I'm saying? I have a few C-section scars. I put it there because birth is traumatic. So you play around with it. This is the idea when Gary Young would say, play around with your oils, play around with them. Understand what happens and how you're releasing these and why. Here are the oils that are in inner harmony: geranium, lavender, royal Hawaiian sandalwood, ylang ylang, Idaho blue spruce again, sacred frank, Roma chamomile, tangerine, orange, northern lights black spruce, which replaced galbanum, by the way, myrrh, rose, angelica, vetiver, and melissa. So I just listed those up. I know some of you guys are like, oh my gosh, these are high frequency oils. This is a gentle oil. If you look at melissa and rose, just really tender and sweet oils that are in here. Oils that are going to help create a harmony. Let's focus on just a couple of these though. Ylang ylang. We were having a conversation in my oil group today about ylang ylang. And when somebody doesn't like ylang ylang, my heart is so sad for them. And not because I think, oh, it's such a precious oil, and which it is. It's beautiful. I love it. But what I realize is it combats anger. It helps people who have low self-esteem, and it filters out negative energy. It also balances the male-female energies, right? But what I know about ylang ylang, being that it combats anger and low self-esteem, when women don't like ylang ylang, I've cut enough hair, ladies and gentlemen, to understand there are a lot of women in this world that have a low self-esteem. And so when you don't like an oil like ylang ylang and you are violently opposed, I would submit to you, after studying humans for 100 years, there is a low self-esteem there. You need to become your own center of support. You need not look to somebody else's opinion and approval of you. Vetiver is another one I wanted to focus on. So vetiver is psychologically grounding. It calms and stabilizes your mind. It helps you cope and recover from trauma. And then, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Roman chamomile. It dispels anger. It calms. It combats depression, stress, and insomnia. Roman chamomile Roman chamomile mixed with vetiver, mixed with ylang ylang, angelica, melissa, myrrh, northern lights, black spruce. It creates just an amazing grounding blend. Fun fact, so I do these little tests, right, because I love to study people. Some people would come over to my house when I would have team events. I had these oils out because I've had them for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And of course, you know how it is when you have 1,000 oils and, well, like here, people come and they want to smell the ones that they don't have. 100% of the time, I did like a little mental tally, 100% of the time. When somebody smelled Inner Harmony, they were like, oh my word. They did not care for it. And I think, okay, note to self, this person has got some imbalance. And what I love, because this wasn't available, so I would suggest very sweetly and gently to them, how about you up your Valor game? How about you take some Northern Lights, black spruce, and some ylang ylang and diffuse it at night as you sleep? Yeah, of course you ladies love it. I'm like, yeah, you guys have got this stuff. But if you find that you smell Inner Harmony and you're like, hold on, let's do this. Let's have you put a couple drops in your diffuser at night as you sleep for like a week. Let your body get used to it. Let your body get used to the effects of it. Perhaps just put it on your feet. Remember I mentioned we're going to do the energy centers. Well, you have VitaFlex points on your feet that can go along your spine. And you can put a drop on your big toe, which is more for your brain function, right? So you can do that for about a week. Again, let your body get used to the oils and the effects of them. Do that if you smell Inner Harmony and you're like, you know, it's not cool. Okay. The last one in the Freedom Sleep is Valor. We all know and love Valor. We begged for it to come back when they tried to give us Valor 2. We were like, what is this? What is this silliness you guys are doing? We would like Valor, please, and thank you. But I just, you just got to talk about it because there's always something new that I learn. So hopefully that's you. This blend was created to empower the physical and your emotional and your spiritual body. It helps overcome fear and opposition so that you can stand firm. It can help build confidence and courage and self-esteem. Remember when I said with the ylang ylang and women tend to have a low self-esteem? Here's the answer. When we are facing emotional releasing, Valor is always the go-to. I read an article today about the differences between Young Living and some other essential oil companies, and one of the things that it said in a different spin with Young Living is like, oh, it's so focused on like the spiritual aspect of everything. And I cracked up. I thought, well, yeah, no, duh. That is where it's all at. The thing is if your emotional and your spiritual side is not on point, you're going to be a hot disaster with the physical parts. So if you have physical issues, physical ailments going on, it's emotions. 100% of the time. And if we'd start there, start with Valor, get yourself some courage. Guys, this goes into your bones. It goes deep into your bones. Feel it. Put your Valor on. Gosh, how many drops have I put Valor on today? My word. Put it on your feet. Really be aware. Feel the calm and the peace and the relaxing as you breathe it in. This oil has blue spruce, camphor, blue tansy, frankincense, and geranium. It's powerful. Put it on your spine. Put it on your wrists. Put it across your forehead. For those of you guys who didn't have a voice growing up and you don't always get to speak your truth, put it right here. I love Suzette is just saying, just now putting the Inner Harmony on your throat chakra, what a big difference. You got triggered today and your throat has been hurting like you'd screamed for hours and you didn't. That's that lump, that strain, right? I love that you shared that you put Inner Harmony there. Putting Valor here is powerful as well. When you have had thyroid issues, throat issues, any of that, you didn't get to speak up as a child. You didn't get to say what you needed to say. You didn't maybe have a voice, maybe with your parents, maybe with somebody at school, maybe with a teacher, maybe it was a one-time incident. Nevertheless, there it is. That's how your body stored it. And so putting valor here, or Suzette says, put it in a harmony here, is going to help release that. So good. Okay, so that is freedom sleep. We're going to set you guys aside here. So you do this for 30 days. That I loved. I love walking through this collection for just 30 days with my family. You know, I shared with them, guys, let's not use any other oils. And my daughter's like, I'm going to need some Progestins Plus, any lang. So, okay, sure, I get you. But really, like when we talk about needing other oils, Magnify Your Purpose is one I've been using a lot. So I just sort of put it aside. And you guys, again, play around with it. But if you are really focusing in on this, understand this is a powerful walkthrough. Give yourself the 2 months. It took this long to get that emotional junk bottled up. Give yourself 2 months. The other thing I wanted to share with you is understand that within the first, if you are consistently doing this and you're like me and our family, just, yep, we're going to do all 4 of these oils. We're going to do morning and night and all these ways. Understand that there may be some grumpiness, right? You might be grumpy as you go through this. Hey, let me read some of your comments. Rose says there are 1 oil a week, 4 weeks. No, Rose, if I understand your question, it's 4 oils twice a day for 4 weeks. Erica asks, can you touch on what people can expect to feel and experience? Yes, so that's about to do. Thank you, Erica, for asking that. What I have experienced and what I have experienced talking to other people, I have yet to have someone walk through these oils and say, yay, this has been the most fun thing I've ever done in my whole life. I love this. I have yet to have that with somebody. Yeah, Suzette, you said you need other oils during this time. So use it. Again, it's totally up to you. This is just what we have done in our family. I do use White Angelica because of what I'm about to share. So the first week, what you might expect is just some extra grumpiness. You might be triggered more often. And if you're not familiar with triggers are when you have an emotional response to something that really, that type of response is not matching the situation. It's a great awareness. When you can understand that how powerful triggers are, then you can head them off to the past. And so Suzette is very aware. I'm sorry, girl, I'm just going to use you as an example. She's very aware of triggers. She's very aware of what is going to get under her skin. So obviously she's going to use oils to head those off of the past and walk through this. And Erica, yeah, her and the kids got headaches and you were tired. That's emotional releasing. You may want to sleep a lot. I have noticed that my children have been sleeping a ton. You might just feel more tired. Here's the deal. When you have emotions releasing, it's getting junk out. It wipes you out. And this is why I'm like, this is different than just slapping on some lavender, slapping on lemon or frankincense. This is different. Your body is going to experience what it feels like to get rid of it. It's a detox. How many of you guys have ever done a liver detox, or some of you guys are drinking that nasty celery juice? I'm like, kudos to you. But when you first started drinking it and are doing a detox, did you feel amazing? Did you feel like I could do this all day long? I highly doubt it. First of all, I don't know anybody that's like, yes, I love celery juice. That's the bomb. Anytime we do a detox of any kind, your body will feel it. Your body will absolutely feel it. So just understand that as you work through this, things might come up. Please hear me. It is so important. If you want to keep harmony in your home, it is so important to have this awareness. As the adult in the home, if you're walking through this with your children, if you and your husband are walking through it, or you are just by yourself, please understand. Keeping your frequency high when you're around other people is important. Pausing. I'm going to say that again. Pausing when you are about to have an emotional response to something someone says, does, or even looks at you in a funny way, pausing, reminding yourself, I probably will feel a lot different about this in 2 months. I probably would have felt a lot different about this 2 weeks ago. Pause. Breathe. In our Essentially Free class, we teach breathing, deep, meditative breathing from the belly up through the lungs and then out. If you can pause and do that, you're going to be golden. You're going to want to drink a lot of water. Like if you're supposed to drink your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, 100 ounces, you might drink that and maybe half as much again, just to get the junk out. It's great. Okay, so month 1, that's that. Month 2, you're going to dive into the freedom release. This is where you start to really dive in and get rid of trapped emotions, right? I mean, you're probably already getting rid of them. This is a good one. So here you've got divine release, joy, freedom again, transformation, and TR care. Which I don't know if I'm supposed to say or not supposed to, allowed to say, but it stands for trauma recovery care, which I think it's good to know things. I like to talk about what it stands for, the intent behind it, and a little bit of the science, because once you understand, it makes you very aware. And I think when you know the why and understand the ins and outs of it, it's like, oh, it makes you want to do it more. So let's talk about divine release. Again, and this is the part, I'll say this. This is the part where you might say, TR stands for trauma recovery, Noreen. Trauma recovery care. You might pause on the freedom sleep and then move to the freedom release. If you're finding that you really love it and you can just tell that it's really helping, maybe you do it all. But here's the thing, you're going to do 8 oils then all at once. So if you're like me and you're powering through to get 300 in, and you're like, yeah, I want to just do tons of oils all day long. That's great. But if you're thinking, I'm going to go ahead and sidebar this sleep and I'm going to go for this, it's totally up to you. Totally up to you. When we first did this, we sidelined the freedom sleep after 30 days and we dove into freedom release just to see. Does that make sense? So it's like if you add one and stop the other, that way you can see what's happening. I'm hoping that I'm making sense with that. Okay, divine release. Divine release, the oils in here are known for their abilities to push past emotional blockers that will help alleviate feelings of anxiety, stress, fear, emotional trauma, that kind of thing. Okay, Jen asked, I do want to answer this question. If you've had some tough times at home and have a large family vacation in 3 weeks, would you wait to start all this? Oh, heck yes. If you're about to go on vacation, I wouldn't be doing any kind of trauma releasing. I hesitate to say that because I know there's some of you guys on here that will wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. It's like those are the people who wait till they have enough money to have a baby. You're just never going to have enough money. There won't ever be that perfect time to walk through releasing, but the least perfect time would be on a family vacation, right? But I would make sure that I start it right then, no matter what, no matter what's coming up. Just do it, right? Okay, so divine release. I had a thought. So cedarwood. If you are struggling with wanting to do this, if you're struggling with wanting to learn, may I suggest you use cedarwood for a couple of days before you dive in? And here's why. Cedarwood by itself, there's so many amazing things about cedarwood, but cedarwood will help you remove blockers that are keeping you from, emotional blockers that are keeping you from learning something new. So if you are struggling, if you're one of those people that got your collection like back in February and it was still in the wrapper up until all of us were like, you should get one, and you're going, oh my God, I haven't even opened that one. You need cedarwood. there is some emotional blocker that's preventing you from learning. And that's one of the benefits of cedarwood. Just here, diffuse it at night, about a week, you'd be good. But divine release, here are the oils in divine release. Royal Hawaiian sandalwood, helichrysum, Roman chamomile, frankincense, melissa, geranium, grapefruit, blue cypress, hinoki, bergamot rose, ledum, and angelica. I'm not sure if you are all familiar with sandalwood being high in sesquiterpenes, but that will help right your brain. That helps carve in new thought patterns. When you have sandalwood and Roman chamomile and frankincense together, like you do here, number one, that makes for a highly spiritually aware time. And when you are more spiritually aware, you are able to lay those traumas down, all that stress, any kind of fear, any anxieties, any feelings of that, any emotional blockers, you're able to just let it go. Sandalwood alone is great for people who tend to overthink and worry about things. And so when you have had stuff come up and you're having an awareness of, I need some emotional releasing, chances are one of the underlying factors is maybe you overthink things. Not overthink things in a way of like, maybe you're a dreamer, right? And you just think and dream and manifest and just have all these great visions. Not that kind of overthinking. Overthinking like, oh my gosh, worst case scenario, and just where you can feel the cortisol levels just rise. You want to use divine release. Let's see, where does it tell you to do it here? The temples and then the crown for sure. But also down your spine. Your spine is the epicenter where all of your nerve messages happen. This is why it's so important to go to a chiropractor or give yourself a self-adjustment, right? You want your spine to be perfectly straight so that, well, number one, so you feel okay, right? So you're not like walking like this. But number two, if your spine is like this, your nerves can't receive the messages well, and it certainly can't send them out to the organs and the places in their body they need to. So it's important to have your spine straight. It's important to have it clear and released. It's important to not have any emotions trapped in your spine. Yes, Sandra, using the release kit prior to the 30 days of sleep kit, I mean, I'm not the freedom police, so I wish I was, but what I would say is no, do the sleep first. Girl, you need some sleep. Unless you're like, I've done it in the past. Well, I mean, you can, but if you're an eager beaver, I would say just pump the brakes and do the sleep one. It won't hurt. It's always best. To me, I always like to go best practice. Best practice is sleep first, then release. Get some rest, then release. And then do the sleep again so that you can rest again. All right, joy. We all use joy. We've had joy in our premium starter kit before. We love joy. Some don't love joy. I'm hoping all of you like it or don't like it, whichever, love joy after tonight. It is a magnet of energy of joy when you put it over your heart. You use it over your mind, and your soul just becomes filled with joy. Joy is powerful. I've always heard joy like, oh, it's got a lot of frequencies, it's very high in frequency, high frequency oils. They're lovely, they're soft, they're sweet, all these things. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I love joy, so I put it over my heart. But what I have recently learned, and then I think this is why I like joy, is it helps you to overcome deep-seated grief and depression. I'm like, that's why I like joy. Over the heart every day. It's part of Gary Young's protocol, right? Of the Great Day Protocol with White Angelic and all these. A drop or two over your heart is going to help you to give and receive love. If you have had any kind of trauma, any kind of yuck in your life, giving love, maybe you give love in an inappropriate way so that you can get all the kudos, right? There's those kind of people. They give because they want people to think they're amazing, but they actually can't really receive true love. Just love because you're you, because you're amazing, because you are just here breathing on this earth. How many of you guys feel that you can do that? That you can just receive someone's love, like, yeah, you're amazing, that you don't have to do anything for that love. Joy is going to help you do a very simple, energetic exchange of that. Where there is grief, the adenoids and adrenal glands shut down. Joy helps to open these glands up. Now, as adults, we don't have adenoids anymore. We outgrow them, literally. They just disappear. But children, this is part of the tonsils. It's part of the, I think that's like up right in that soft palate. And what's interesting is this is what produces white blood cells. It helps fight infection. And yet adenoids are being taken out like it's the trash in a child's body because they get sick too much. And I'm like, no, the child has probably had some sort of grief, whether it is grief passed down from the parents, maybe the mother was grieved when she was pregnant, whatever it is. Using joy will help open up those glands, and the adrenals, ladies and gentlemen, the adrenal glands are located at the top of your kidneys. I talk about the adrenal glands a lot, and sometimes I see a blank stare, and so I realize, oh, maybe you don't know where the adrenal glands are. My bad. It's just above the kidneys, each kidney. You have one on each side. So these produce hormones that help the body control blood sugar. It burns protein, burns fat, right? If you have a weight management challenge, it could be your adrenals. Don't be so hard on yourself. You might be in adrenal fatigue. It also, reacts to stressors, your adrenals rather, like a major illness or an injury. They also regulate our blood pressure. Two of the most important adrenal hormones are cortisol and aldosterone. These little glands are so precious to our body. They're precious to your endocrine system, for men and women. They offer a whole host of functions, and yet, where there's grief, they shut down. So, if you know that you have adrenal fatigue, and I'm not treating or curing, please hear me. Please hear me. But to help open your adrenals up, help them, function the way they're supposed to. A couple drops of joy over the heart. Take another couple drops. Activate the oil over your adrenals back here. Let me type it in, Tiffany. Hang on one sec, guys. Let me spell it right. Aldosterone. Is that right? Did I spell that? Yeah, there we go. Cortisol, aldosterone. In joy, you've got bergamot, ylang-ylang, geranium, lemon, coriander, tangerine, jasmine, Roman chamomile, pomarosa, and rose. All just gorgeous, beautiful oils. Transformation. Transformation, they recommend joy for the adrenals. 2 to 3 drops on each wrist. If you are inclined to read scripture like I am, Romans 12 says, don't be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So if I'm going to use an oil called transformation, and I know it's really, even without scripture, you can just say, probably what needs to change is your brain. I'm not going to put it on my wrist. That's just me. I mean, you do you. You can have a lovely little cologne or perfume. But it energizes and stimulates your conscious mind, what you think about, what you know you think about. We have 30,000 thoughts-ish a day. We grab, our conscious mind grabs about 10% of that. There's a lot of thoughts we're not really realizing or going through. So I want to energize and stimulate the ones that I know about for sure. And I'm going to, with transformation, it'll create a space to be able to make change, especially emotional and mental changes. So you can put it on your wrist, but better, your cerebellum, your forehead, over your heart, where love and kindness and compassion reign supreme. Because in emotional releasing, there's a bout of forgiveness. Somewhere, at some point, you're going to need to forgive. So over here is going to help with love and compassion and kindness to be able to make that possible. Jen asked, I talk about activating the oil. So I was taught, when you activate an oil, when you drop it in your hands, let's use a different oil than Valor. When you drop it in your hands, it's like activating, it's like exciting it. This is the Jen Weir explanation. And I was taught it's mind, body, spirit. Again, we're super spiritual, emotion-based essential oils, right? And it's because we know what they do. So you do that. If you keep it in a roller, should you be rubbing it in the hands first? When you're rolling it, you're activating it, aren't you? Because you're making contact, or wherever you're rolling it, you're activating it that way. Maybe rub it 3 times. Do that. Okay. TR Care. This little guy. So the oils in here are going to help to calm and soothe. Remember, trauma recovery care. So it's going to calm and soothe. It's going to help with any nervous tension. It's going to help alleviate any fears or any type of emotional trauma. You want to apply this to the edges of the ears. Why? This is telling us to do 1 to 3 drops around the ears, and I love that. Because here's the thing, particularly at the bottom of your ear, okay, so at the bottom of your ear, this is where feelings of anger, fear, hate, and rejection need to be released. Not that you store them here, but these are acupressure points, right, that are going to help to release that. If you apply it to your ear, your right thumb and your big toe, you do this 3 times, morning and night, mind, body, spirit. This is going to help release any anger, any fears, any hates, or any rejections. Yeah, Tina, you can add these oils with the carrier and wear it like perfume. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to be a walking emotional releasing diffuser. That's awesome. So when we talk about this, if you've ever read any of the biblical oils or you've studied that book, Healing Oils of the Bible, you've come to our Bible study or classes, you know that there's 3 different ways to heal. There's the instantaneous physical healing. There's a physical healing of over time with care. That's where we get the word therapy. And then there's the third one is called sozo healing. We only see this 3 times in the New Testament. But the sozo healing is mind, body, spirit. It's everything. It's not mind, body, spirit. Excuse me. It is physical, it's emotional, and it's spiritual. And so when you think about something like TR Care, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of it. Now we're going to do this sozo healing. You're going to get the physical, the spiritual, and the emotional healing all at once, especially because you're releasing fear, anger, rejection here. If you choose to do it on your right thumb and your big toe, if you do this 3 times a day, it's powerful. Or, 3 times morning and night. Not 3 times a day, 3 times morning and night. In this blend, you have a ton of oils, but particularly hyssop and cedarwood. No, wait. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm like, wait, did I get that? No, yeah. They're hyssop and cedarwood. In scripture, you see them all together, always together, to release these types of emotions. This in particular, in your ears, is an emotion tied to your mother and your father. I did enough hair for enough years to know a lot of folks got a lot of problems with their mom and their dad. This blend has a ton of oils. You guys can read it on your own time. I don't want to take up our time reading through them, but I specifically want to talk about cedarwood and hyssop. Those are powerful oils. Hyssop will also help to, overcome addictions, habitual behavior, bad habitual behavior. Bad as in not for your highest good. Does that make sense? So if you have something you're like, I can't stop doing this thing, hyssop, and it's in TR Care. It's beautiful. Okay, we've already talked about freedom, and so those are the oils. That's the protocol. Again, I've walked with these oils. Started using them in 2015 on myself and my little girl. She was a year and a half, 2.5 at the time. And we saw some great results, and we have walked through them quite a lot over the years. I've used them very sparingly because they were out of stock forever. But I've taken enough notes. I've done different things with them. I saw this collection or the protocol a few months ago. I thought, we can do better. This is basic. We can do better. Just a reminder, don't do this alone. Buddy up. You can go with Erica's approach and grab your children, which would be great if they're older. But really another adult is best practice. So for those of you guys in our Essentially Free class, please ask me any questions as you want. We've got another round of Essentially Free, a completely different thing going starting July 29th. So if you guys want to walk through this with us then, we'd be happy to have you. So thank you guys for joining me. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to stay on and answer those.